Okay, here we are. It's Wednesday, and this is an update on our OG trade, our new OG trade. And if you haven't seen the OG trade video, go back and take a look at it. There's a thumbnail looks like this, has this old rancher on it, and this is a trade that can be placed for no risk. Well, let's say potentially no risk, because this is my first trade on this. So I saw this, a friend of mine, Conrad, he showed me this trade over the weekend, and I didn't quite believe if it was true or not. But then I remembered this old guy back in the early 2000s. I was in an airport. I was working as a video producer, and I met this guy in the airport, and he had tried to explain some trade to me that I just couldn't wrap my head around back then. But when I saw this trade this last weekend, it all came back, and I'm almost 100% certain that this is the trade that he was trying to explain to me. And this is a trade that can be placed so that the risk graph, so everything is above the zero line at initiation, which I've never been able to do. Well, I have with the money glitch trades, but those can change throughout the duration. These are rock solid. There's no changing, I don't think, but there could be. So that's why I'm doing this test trade. So this is a test trade, real money trade in my real account. And if you look at the risk graph here, you can see that no matter what happens, up or down, this trade, the worst case scenario is that we make 12 bucks. And just to make sure that it's a riskless trade, I'm just going to hold this all the way through. I'm going to start to run a bunch of different tests on this setup, and I don't really want to encourage anyone else to yet until I can verify for myself that this is like the real deal. So I really don't know what's going to happen with this trade. I mean, I've never traded it before. I don't know anyone else who's traded it, so I'm just kind of waking my way through the dark here with this. And I'm definitely not qualified to teach anybody this strategy because this is my first time trading it myself. Who knows? I mean, this thing could fall apart, or something may be in the structure here that I don't quite understand, and I could find out midway through. I could have some losses or some other weird thing happen. This wouldn't be the first time. So let me just test these out here, and we can all follow along. Let them just go from beginning to end, right through duration. We'll all watch them, see how they perform. And if everything turns out to be cool, no problems, no weird things or risks that we were unaware of, then we can go hog wild. So I'm going to do a couple of these test trades this month, starting this week. This is the first one. And I'm going to place these trades with real money in a real account just to make sure we actually get filled on these, and then to see what happens throughout the duration of the trade and see if this thing will ever move below. I don't think the way it's constructed, everything I know about options and risk graphs and all that says that this is going to be rock solid no matter what. And again, take a look at this. So it's just a combination, but what it has to do with is there's options that are occasionally or more than occasionally, more than you would think, that are mispriced, and they're in a certain range, and they're quite easy to identify. There's another program I'm involved with taking advantage of mispricing in options. And hold on a second, I got to get out of this trade up here. Wow, okay.
Order filled.
We're kicking some butt in the
order filled.
The Vince trade. Vince trade just
order filled.
Blew up on me in a good way. Sorry for this. I'm just going to close these down. These are just kind of taking off all of a sudden. I'll show you what I got going on up here. So I just had placed these trades a little bit, then I got busy talking about this dang OG trade, and all these took off. So this is the Vince trade, and these are this is a day trading strategy on the micro futures that we do with the prop accounts. And so each one of these are all separate accounts. There's 14 here, all lined up. And what's cool about this is that I can make a trade in just one of the accounts, and they're all linked together. So whatever I do in this account, just making one trade, it gets linked, replicated across all these. So this is just from today. This is a nice daily income on this. And we're not risking our own money. This is the prop accounts money. So we're not risking our own money. We have the super leverage of being able to get multiple accounts, like up to 20 accounts, and we can link them all together, replicate them all. So we just make one trade and it gets replicated automatically throughout the rest of them. So 161, today we've made 161 bucks times 14 accounts. So that's a $2,254 day right there. Not bad, not too shabby. Anyway, check out my other videos on that. If you'd like to learn more about the Vince trade, just reach out to me, or take a look at the videos on my YouTube channel called the Vince trade, or just reach out to me and just say, hey, hook me up with the Vince trade. We have a trading room every morning. You can get in there for free right now. Just email me and I will hook you up in there. All right, so back to this OG trade here. So again, this is the first test on these. Now this is this whole scenario of being able to initiate a trade above the zero line. This is something I've been trying to do for years, ever since I started to trade options, or ever since I learned how to read a risk graph, and I was unsuccessful. The money glitch trades are close, but the money glitch trades, you can start off a position where it's all above the zero line, but if you're not careful, parts of that money glitch trade can start to sag by the end of the week and dip below it. So you have to be very careful and just make sure you're not trading anywhere around those areas that can sag. First day on those, yeah, you can be all the way above the zero line. By the end of the week, not necessarily. Maybe, but not necessarily. But with this, the way this is constructed, this should stay rock solid throughout the whole duration of the trade. This expiration line won't, or I should say shouldn't, droop down into a risk zone. So no matter what happens in this trade, we're going to make 12 bucks. And this is, you can get this line up a lot higher. This is just my first test, and so I wanted to risk the minimal amount, make it as simple as possible, just to see if it actually works, and hold it all the way through the entire duration of the trade, and just make sure that what I think is going to happen is actually happening. So I wouldn't mess around with this, and oh, I got filled in something else now. Hold on. Okay, so back at this. So I would not mess around with this until I get through testing this. Just let me test this and risk my money. I'm going to use real money with this just to make sure I get real fills, and just let me take the risk and see if this is actually legit all the way through. So far, so good. I was actually able to place this trade, and we're above the zero line. It's a no risk position, and we have unlimited upside potential, and we have this butterfly-like structure here where we can potentially capture games if there's a move down. Worst case scenario, no matter what, is that we make 12 bucks on this. So I'm really excited about this whole concept, because this is just a basic kind of a structure setup. There's a lot of different things that we can do, a lot of different ways we can build this out and milk it, and do adjustments where we can raise this line up, higher as the underline moves around. So this is my big OG experiment I got going. Stay tuned, and we'll see how this works out. I'll continue to do a series of videos on this, and I'll also open a couple of others this week and next week, and we'll just kind of sit here and watch throughout the duration of these trades and see if everything stays cool, and see if we remain above that line, and that the risk on this by the end of the trade is what I think it is now. That's the whole purpose of this test. If you'd like to follow along with me on this trade, just make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button below, and you can also join me on my website. Just go over to my website, join my free email newsletter. You'll get a welcome email from me. Just reply back to that welcome email. Say, hey, I'd like to learn more about the OG trade, or keep me in the loop on the OG trade, or whatever trade. Any of the trades I'm doing, just let me know. I'll get back to you, and we'll go from there. All right, that's it for this one. We'll see you next time.